So I know I said 101, but we might make it a little bit shorter because I think without the PowerPoint it's not so exciting. So maybe, I don't know, 80 ways or something. Hope no one count. So hi everyone, my name's Molly and I'm a campaigner at PETA, and it's a pleasure to be here with you all today. As part of my role at PETA, I work with the media, our supporters, activists and celebrities to get the word out about how animals suffer and to find ways to stop it. So what does that mean? Well, my work has taken me around the world to organise protests and draw attention to our campaigns. I've led a pack of dinosaurs across Millennium Bridge in London to tell people that eating meat is prehistoric and urge them to go vegan. I've been body painted as a cow in Dubai to protest the fact that nobody was talking about animal agriculture at COP28. And I've gate crashed London Fashion Week to remind Burberry that animals are not clothing. Unless people know what's happening to animals, it will never change. So that's where you come in. I hope I can give you some tips you'll find useful, because there really is something for everyone. So some of you here are already seasoned activists, going to protests, leafleting, doing outreach or other things to spread the message of animal suffering. So some of what I talk about today won't be new, but there may be other things that you'd like to try. For those who are new to the movement, perhaps a little shy or anxious about activism, I hope I can offer you a wealth of ideas and inspiration for how you can help animals. Whether you're on the streets or in your armchair, it's vital that we all do things to forward animal liberation. So although you might not guess it, I've never been the most confident person. Learning to speak up took practice, but every time I have to do something that perhaps feels challenging or a little bit uncomfortable, I think of the animals who need me to be their voice. I take a few deep breaths and just go for it. So even if you don't think you are outgoing, or if you're a little bit afraid, I promise you can do all of the things I'll mention. So let's get started. So firstly, there are a few basic rules that all animal advocates should follow that will help you develop a mindset of effective advocacy. Anybody who takes public transport regularly will hear the mantra, if you see something, say something. But that's always been the PETA message. If you see any act of cruelty and can prevent it on the spot, do so. Don't assume someone else will step in. That someone is you. Recently, I saw my local corner shop had started selling glue traps. I explained to them how cruel they are and how they'll be illegal soon in England, and they took them down from the shelves right there and then. If you see any abuse on social media platforms, document and report it, because you can get results. I would have had a beautiful image of a cat named Oreo who was seen on Snapchat. Unfortunately, a young person videoed himself beating him with boxing gloves. And someone contacted PTUS about this, and that meant that they could contact the police and get him removed from his abuser, and he's now in a loving home forever. It may sound obvious, but we must always set a good example. We must mind our language. Let's never be caught calling animals it or that, but he, she, they, and who. If we talk about animals as if they are toasters and sofas, it will be hard to convince people around us that they are sentient beings deserving of respect and care. And while this may sound trivial, it isn't. It makes people think, and like sexist language, it will stop implying inferiority. It's also really important to remember that you have rights. It's totally legal to protest in most public areas, such as on the pavement, as long as you're not blocking pedestrians and traffic. But it goes beyond that. There's an amazing story of this town mayor, for example, who refused to wear his ceremonial robe until the animal fur was removed and replaced with a faux alternative. Or there was a delivery driver who refused to deliver food to animal experimenters at a laboratory. These are ordinary people, yes, but pioneers who stopped cruelty and got everyone to think about animal abuse. So we all live in a community, right? Whether it's big like London or small like the countryside town where I'm from. And every community, no matter the size, presents opportunities for us to get active for animals. One easy idea is to give books and DVDs about animal rights as presents and leave books in little free libraries. You can ask your local library to order animal-friendly books. And whilst you're there, stop for a moment to pull up the PETA website on the computers and leave it there where you leave. You can easily order You can easily leave vegan starter kits, leaflets, and other literature in waiting rooms, your gym, supermarket shelves, the back of an airplane seat, your Airbnb, anywhere people will see them and pick them up. So many people have told us they went vegan after reading one of our vegan starter kits, and it costs nothing. PETA will always provide these to you free of charge, so just get in touch. Are you taking a bus or a tube somewhere? Leave a copy for someone to read. And countless commuters could get the message if you drive around with a bold bumper sticker or message on your car. Do you have a hotspot? Name it meat is murder or fur is dead or something like that, so that everyone looking for Wi-Fi will get your message. On the same note, your phone has a safety feature that lets you not only automatically disable incoming texts whilst driving, but also send an automatic reply. Make yours an animal rights message. If you're traveling, get a supply of leaflets about animals used for entertainment and leave them at tourist centres, in brochure kiosks, and in your hotel. Don't forget to drop some in the suggestions and comments boxes too. I brought some stickers along with us today. You can grab some afterwards. And you feel free to put them wherever you like. Be creative about it. If you have a child in school or no parents, ask if you can show videos or hold movie nights or screenings to view Seaspiracy, Blackfish, Forks Over Knives, or Dominion. Even the most unlikely people change when they see with their own eyes what's going on. I think it's also fair to say that pretty much everyone loves food. So why not prepare delicious vegan dishes for co-workers, neighbours, friends, family, anyone? Share the recipes you create online and inspire others to give them a try. Oh, and don't forget to let everyone know that each vegan spares more than 200 animals every year. If you know a drive-thru sells vegan burgers or some other delicious vegan options, order some for the office or for a picnic. Or pay it forwards by paying it backwards. In other words, paying for an order for the car or customer behind you in line. Are you on any dating apps? Well, the dating profiles of some people I know come with the warning, if you are holding a fish you have caught, please do not message me. Messages like this can spark lively conversations about speciesism. Whatever the occasion, gift giving is a great way to introduce animal rights topics. Give thoughtful presents, like cookbooks, or a gift basket with cruelty-free toiletries and cosmetics. Better yet, volunteer to be a dog sitter for free if the person agrees to go vegan for a month. Down-free jackets or meaningful donations to save an animal in a sanctuary are all great gifts too. You could consider paying a luxury tax. So PETA founder Ingrid came up with this great idea. Whenever she treats herself to a luxury, be it a holiday or a soy latte, she donates 10% of the cost to PETA or an animal shelter to help those with no luxuries at all. Of course, we should all be walking billboards, not over the top, but in a cool way by wearing animal rights branding clothing and accessories. There are so many brands out there now designing clothes that are stylish but offer a subtle animal rights message to get people thinking, whether you're in the gym, stood in front of someone in a queue, or meeting up with friends. When eating in a restaurant, make a point to compliment the vegan options at the end of the meal. When standing in line at the supermarket, make sure others hear you tell the cashier how pleased you are about some wonderful vegan items, even if you've been buying them for years. People really do pay attention. If someone has stood near you in the aisle, make a point of saying something like, "Oh, this is the best vegan chicken I've tried," or something along those lines. And if the store is having a buy one get one free promotion, offer to give one to the shopper behind you. Does your workplace have a cafe? Ask for vegan options, and even show stats as to how many people are going vegan and will want them. Plan ahead for workshops, conferences, and group meetings, and ask the coordinator to make sure there are vegan choices galore. Even show them products or bring them one to try. One easy way to reach a lot of people quickly and to create lots of opportunities for good conversation, as well as building your confidence, is by tabling and leafleting at street fairs, concerts, local special events, on street corners, really anywhere. All you need is a smile and to pretend to be confident. One of my colleagues tells a story of her light bulb moment being when someone standing outside of McDonald's handed her a leaflet about how much water it takes to produce one hamburger. One leaflet, one mind changed. Sure, some people might make an annoying comment here and there, but just remember the animals and keep smiling. So most of the things I've talked about so far require very little time or money, but some of you might want to be even more involved, and there are plenty of ways to do just that. One thing is to ask your local soup kitchen to serve a vegan meal and offer to fundraise for it or provide the food, which you might even get a supermarket to donate, or start a vegan food bank for your local women's shelter. You could work with your friends and neighbours to organise a rubbish fishing day. What's that, I hear you ask? Rubbish fishing is a fun, fish-friendly, that's a tongue twister, fish-friendly activity that involves fishing litter out of the water and along banks instead of impaling sensitive living beings through their lips. It cleans up animals' homes and protects fish, turtles, birds and other animals from eating or becoming entangled in the debris, which can be deadly. Get some photos and send them to your local newspaper with a paragraph explaining what you've done. It might shine a spotlight on the event. You can give your time to your local animal shelter by walking lonely dogs or spending time playing with lonely cats. If you know one of your neighbour's dogs isn't quite getting as much love as they need and deserve, offer to walk him or her. You can spin it as though you want the exercise. We are all represented on councils and in Parliament, so let's make those reps work for us. Calling, emailing, or meeting with your local politicians to let them know what issues are important to you puts animal rights in their minds, and that's how it should be. There's already momentum on bills to ban the import of hunting trophies or to ban the live export of cows and sheep for slaughter. So ask your MP to turn up and support these important pieces of legislation. For parents, grandparents, teachers, or those who just love kids, there are tons of things you can do to introduce them to animal rights. Help organise classroom speakers or talks for after-school programmes, or make yourself available. Teachers are always looking for someone to present to kids. If you learn that your child's school is planning something like chick hatching, voice your objections clearly and persistently. Do the same if you hear a field trip is being planned to a petting zoo or aquarium. Reach out to school cafeteria supervisors and ask for vegan options. Also ask that vegan ice cream is stocked so that no one is left out when treats are given out. And of course, if they serve milk, tell them that they must not discriminate against lactose-intolerant children and they must make plant milk available. Speaking of eating, if you ever go out to eat at places that don't have tons of choices, make sure to order what you can and pleasantly mention to the manager that you hope they'll expand their vegan options. Every person who asks represents more people who want it, so speak up and follow up. You could even take it to the next level. Ask restaurants and hotels that don't normally offer vegan to cater your next event, with all vegan food, of course. We had one staff member work with a hotel that didn't even know what the word vegan meant when she got married, and they were mesmerised, did a wonderful job, and then started including some of the vegan dishes on their regular offerings. And that brings up a good point. You know, many business owners may not realise that something they've done for years is hurting animals and their business. If you learn that a business is holding an abusive event, think puppy yoga or a reindeer photo op at Christmas, let them know why that's got to go. Over the years, we've convinced so many companies to ban animal acts. One by one, we can shrink the number of venues that animal exhibitors have available. Unless owners or managers of businesses hear the concerns of shoppers, nothing changes. If you should spot posters advertising donkey rides or a breeder selling puppies for profit, and that poster or stack should disappear, we won't tell anyone. And if you should happen to rearrange the letters on signage, make it something like Go Vegan. When you're shopping for clothes, always make a point of engaging with store managers about animal-based materials like wool and leather. Ask if an item is vegan leather, and then explain what that means if they don't know. Similarly, tell them that the leather gloves and accessories they are selling may be made of dog leather. You can put a video on your phone ready to show them. The goal here is to get people to consider issues they may not have given a passing thought to. Every person you interact with is one more person whose eyes will be opened, and they'll tell people about the conversation. So here's the other side of the coin. Don't just complain. Be sure to thank stores, restaurants, publishers, producers, advertisers, and other companies when you see animal-friendly policies or messages. So let's get a little bit more personal. What makes this movement so powerful is our individual talents and interests. You may not have ever thought of your sewing pastime as an opportunity for advocacy, but PETA supporters around the world have created the world's first fish empathy quilt. I would have had a very impressive picture of it, but it's more than 100 handmade squares that have been created individually by kind people, representing why they no longer eat or catch fish. So I mentioned this and you might be thinking, no, my hobby can't make a difference. But everyone has some talent or fascination that can be put to use for good. During the COVID lockdown, one of our staff members started a virtual book club. Her first book, Animal Kind. Are you into photography? Offer to take beautiful photos of the animals up for adoption at a shelter for their website. Keyboard warrior. Use your writing skills to send editorials and letters to the editor. A gardener. Make your garden a paradise for birds and wildlife by using native plantings and bird houses and baths. And for all of you artists, ask schools, coffee shops or libraries to display your works with vegan or factory farm or vivisection themes. Find a wall and paint an animal rights mural. You could sponsor one of PETA's hard-to-ignore billboards or ask a local company if they will run one for free. It costs nothing to carry out a banner hang over a bridge. Call into radio talk shows. You might hear hosts talking about bonfire night plans and remind them that fireworks are dangerous for wildlife and companion animals. Or perhaps a station is promoting an aquarium and you call to remind listeners about the cruelty. Be polite and present a few facts. And of course, what would our movement be without demos? If you've never been to one, beware, your first may make you a demo junkie, more power to you. Protests are particularly effective when you're pinpointing a specific cruelty, like a restaurant serving foie gras, which is made from force-feeding birds, or a source selling fur, cashmere, or down feathers. Before considering a protest, make sure that if you're targeting something that could easily be stopped, that you've done your due diligence by contacting whoever that target is to ask if they will stop. And that really can happen. Days after hearing from PETA, one store cancelled their holiday displays exploiting live reindeer. One prominent fashion designer told us the night before we were due to protest at her fashion show that she would stop using exotic skins for good if we agreed to cancel the protest. And there are hundreds of examples like this. And remember, even if you don't get instant results, never doubt the impact that you're having behind the scenes. After almost 2 years of campaigning, Jet2 Holidays, who are the UK's largest tour operator, announced just a few weeks ago that they would stop selling tickets to marine parks. A huge win for captive marine animals everywhere. So, to summarise, no matter what it is, everyone can do something to help animals. When there's a will, there's a way. I know it can be difficult at times, but we must remember that the animals need us. I've shared some of our favourite suggestions, and if you want more, Ingrid has some amazing books, the PETA Practical Guide to Animal Rights, Making Kind Choices, and some more. And don't forget to sign up to PETA's action team on our website so we can alert you when quick action is needed on national, regional, or local animal issues. So to end, in the words of Ingrid Newkirk, let's bust the myth that there's humane and sustainable anything involving animals. Let's show the videos to everyone and never be quiet about how worthy animals are, and actively work to stop animals from being live plucked, anally electrocuted, cut up in class, beaten in the circus, tormented in a laboratory, sold in a pet shop, hit in the face with clippers, kept in cages, hunted, trapped, and torn apart. Let's be loud, let's be strong, let's be persuasive, let's be determined, let's be unstoppable, and let's be uncomfortable. And next year, even more victories, because animal rights will happen if we try, and we try hard. So please, do everything you can possibly think of to do all the time. Thank you.